about these meetings, and please do follow our timelines for more such updates, because the Foreign Minister is holding these meetings as we speak in Manila. Yesterday, an important meeting was held in Manila between the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, with the Foreign Minister of the Russian Federation, Mr. 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲. The two leaders reviewed the full spectrum of Pakistan-Russia bilateral relations and reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthening cooperation in a wide variety of subjects: trade, energy, connectivity, and other key areas, as well as enhancing coordination in multilateral forums. The Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister also met Mr. Khalilur Rahman, the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh and the President-elect of the 81st General Assembly of the United Nations. He will assume charge, I believe, in August or September this year as the President of the General Assembly. The Deputy Prime Minister, while in Manila, also visited the headquarters of the Asian Development Bank, where he met the Director General for Central and West Asia, Mr. 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗲. They discussed the bank's development agenda and its partnership with Pakistan, and appreciated valuable contribution of Pakistani professionals, a number of them who are serving at the Asian Development Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammad 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲 was in Shanghai earlier this week, last weekend on 16-17 July, to attend the signing ceremony of the establishing World Artificial Intelligence Cooperation Organization, the WICO. The initiative aims to strengthen international cooperation on intelligence governance, research, and capacity building. As a founding member of Pakistan, of WICO, we became the founding member by virtue of Deputy Prime Minister's presence in Shanghai. So as a founding member, Pakistan look forward to enhance international cooperation on artificial intelligence, particularly South-South cooperation, to harness artificial intelligence-related technology for sustainable economic development. While in Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Prime Minister also met with the Chinese Foreign Minister, Mr. Wang Yi. The two leaders discussed the implementation of CPEC, regional connectivity, SCO cooperation, trade, and Pakistan-China strategic partnership. They also reaffirmed Pakistan-China all-weather strategic cooperative partnership through a multifaceted sectoral cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, you are aware Canada's Foreign Minister Her Excellency Anita Anand paid an official visit to Pakistan on 20th July 2026. This was the first visit by the Canadian Foreign Minister to Pakistan in the last 20 years. She met the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister here in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where official delegation level talks were held, and also met our Prime Minister. Both sides discussed bilateral trade, bilateral relations, trade, investment, regional and global developments, climate cooperation, and people-to-people contacts. Pakistan and Canada also signed a protocol on phytosanitary import requirements for genetically modified canola intended for food, feed, and processing, facilitating agricultural trade between the two countries. They also agreed to expand cooperation in trade, investment, security, development, reaffirming their commitment to institutionalizing the bilateral engagement. With these remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I conclude my opening statement, and I would be ready to take question answers. Zishan.
Thank you, spokesperson. Many questions, but I'll ask this time just one. The European Union has published 5th GSP report. Generally, it's positive for Pakistan, but it also identifies several areas where European Union has expects further reforms from Pakistan. So your comment on it. Thank you.
The European Commission has published its biannual GSP monitoring review report for 2023-25. This is a biannual cycle. The overall report covers 60 beneficiary countries. As part of this overall report, the Commission has published individual country assessment reports as well, including one on Pakistan that you mentioned. The assessment is the final monitoring report under the current GSP Plus framework on Pakistan's compliance with the 27 international conventions. So it's the final report, the last of such series. We appreciate the assessment report's acknowledgement of Pakistan's legislative progress during the reporting period and the country's continued compliance with the 27 international conventions. Nevertheless, I would be remiss if I do not express disappointment with the with the report's overall narrative, which does not present a sufficiently balanced picture of Pakistan's performance, understates the breadth of reforms undertaken since Pakistan joined GSP Plus in 2014, and places disproportionate emphasis on the lower than desirable level of progress in certain areas, few areas. GSP Plus remains central to Pakistan's economic relationship with the European Union, supporting exports, employment, women's economic participation, poverty reduction, and broader economic development. It is a mutually beneficial arrangement in that respect. Beyond GSP, Pakistan's EU cooperation extends to development, migration, counterterrorism, regional stability, resilience, climate resilience, connectivity, and many other areas. We will remain constructively engaged with the European Commission and other EU institutions and remain committed to the effective implementation of international conventions underpinning the GSP framework. Anas?
Thank you so much, spokesperson. The Amnesty International has yesterday published a report on the strikes by Pakistan in Kabul and the alleged one on, as they said, on a hospital of sorts. Without much new evidence, what is Pakistan's response on the matter?
Yes, this report was published and we have seen the report. We completely reject the allegations made by Amnesty International. It is unfortunate that such serious allegations have been presented without any credible evidence. The Taliban regime continues to maintain a permissive environment for a range of terrorist organizations, including 𝗟𝗃 Pakistan, the Balochistan Liberation Army, and other affiliates. The freedom to undertake terrorist activities allowed to these listed organizations, their access to bases and sanctuaries on Afghan soil, as well as ability to recruit, finance, and execute cross-border attack, constitutes a serious threat to regional peace and security. Thousands of innocent Pakistani citizens have been martyred and injured because of Pakistan's terrorist attacks, which have been planned, financed, supported, and carried out from Afghan soil, all under the watch and patronage of active facilitation by the Taliban regime. No responsible state can remain passive when its civilians and security forces are repeatedly targeted. Any military strikes by Pakistan were undertaken in exercise of its right to self-defense under principles of necessity and as a measure of last resort, and directed only and exclusively, and let me repeat, directed only and exclusively against terrorists and their logistical support bases in Afghanistan. Pakistan's response was proportionate to the level of threat, while strictly adhering to the principle of distinction and precaution and proportionality. The scale and scope of this action reflected restraint, particularly in light of the severity and frequency of terrorist attacks faced by Pakistan. Pakistan rejects any insinuation in this regard otherwise. Pakistan calls upon the Amnesty International and the international community at large to direct rigorous scrutiny towards the Taliban regime's continued patronage of terrorist groups. The root causes that this report to address the root causes that this Amnesty International report has conspicuously failed to address. We also urge the international community to hold the Afghan Taliban regime accountable for its failure to uphold its obligations under the relevant United Nations Security Council resolution, its own commitment under the Doha Agreement and other related commitments to prevent Afghan soil from being used as a launchpad for terrorism. Pakistan reserves the right to take all necessary measures in order to safeguard its sovereignty, territorial integrity, and safety and security of its people. I thank you.
पाकिस्तान अपने लोगों के हिफाजत और मुल्क की खुद मुख्तारी के लिए जो भी करना पड़ा वो करेगा। तर्जुमान दफ्तर ख़ारजा ताहिर हुसैन इंदराबी हफ्तावार न्यूज़ ब्रीफिंग दे रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा पाकिस्तान ने बहरा अहमर में हौसियों के हमलों की शदीद मजम्मत की है। पाकिस्तान हौसियों की तरफ से सऊदी अरब और तजारती जहाज़ों को धमकियों की भी मजम्मत करता है। तजारती जहाज़ों को धमकियाँ इलाकाई अमन और आलमी तजारत के लिए ख़तरा हैं। पाकिस्तान अपने बहरी मफादात के तहफ़्फ़ुज़ के लिए पुरअज़्म है।
Unfortunately, the disruption in 2018 that happened in Pakistan